part of the Bible, because
No. There was a time when there was the Old Testament and there was no New Testament. Yes. Then there was the New Testament and then they were joined together.
yes,
So they're in a book now, but they were not in a book before. And there are people on the earth now, like the Jews, who don't accept that the Old Testament should be with the New Testament. So they're not the part of the same book. They're separate books that are collected together. So the question is still the same. Why, if you say that the Quran cannot come because the Word of God cannot change, why did the New Testament come? Because there was the Old Testament.
well, I understand your question, but
My question to you is the same question you asked me.
the same question.
Same question
Yes.
you asked. You said to me, why did the Quran come if we had the
Yes.
previous scripture?
Yes.
So I'm saying to you, why did the New Testament come when we had the Old Testament? Same question. Now, I can give you a response to that, but I'm asking you to be fair
Yes.
and give me your response to the same question.
Well, what I can say, basically, the New Testament, right?
Sorry?
The New Testament consists of Gospels. So Jesus, look, the Old Testament prophesies that God will sacrifice Himself, right? The Isaiah chapter predicted the coming of Jesus. So the word didn't change because the New Testament knew that someone named Emmanuel would come to earth. You understand?
Okay, so I understand the answer you're giving me, but it's not answering my question.
It does answer because
No, I'm going to explain to
the
you why.
Old Testament is part of the New Testament, so it cannot be changed when the Old Testament prophesies, predicts
Can I
the coming.
understand? Can I try to understand what you're saying?
Okay.
So what you're saying to me, from what I'm understanding,
Yes.
is that the message of the Old Testament is the
Yes.
same as the message of the New Testament. Is that what you're saying to me?
It doesn't mean it's the same. It's just the message from God.
Okay. So let me understand you again. So you're saying it's okay for the New Testament to come
Yes.
after the Old Testament because it's just a message from God.
It's a message prophesied in the Old Testament, so the word didn't change.
Okay. So there is no. So I understand there is no difference in the what you should believe or how you should believe between the Old Testament and the New Testament. None. According to you.
No difference.
No difference at all. Okay. I disagree with this analysis that you've made. I disagree with it. Okay.
You have the right to disagree.
Absolutely, and I can give you the reason why as well. So, some very basic reasons. Okay. So the Old Testament, as far as I understand, you can tell me I'm wrong, is based upon a system of following God's commandments,
Yes.
adhering to the law. Okay. And the New Testament is based upon the law is no longer required, just your faith that Jesus died for your sins and was resurrected.
Yes.
I would say they're two different messages. First thing, that's the first thing. So the messages are different. The Old New Testament abrogates the Old Testament. Okay, that's the first point. Second point, there are no practicing Jews who are Jews. Yeah, I'm not talking about Messianic Jews who are Christians, who are from a Jewish background. I'm talking about practicing Jews. The Jews as an archetype who accepts the concept of God coming to die for their sins. None of them. At all. Why is this? Because the Old Testament talks about God being immortal, cannot die. The Old Testament talks about that you will receive. The Old Testament talks about the fact that the Messiah will be saved from any tribulation. I can give you evidence for this. There are 15 or 16 Old Testament prophecies where the Messiah is specifically the name is not mentioned, even the term Messiah is not mentioned, but these verses are understood to be about the Messiah, where he will be saved. I can give you a few. I have a list of them with me if you want. Okay. So, and then the concept comes though. You say Jesus is the Messiah. Muslims say Jesus is the Messiah. We accept this.
Yes.
You say he's born from a virgin. We say he's born from a virgin. We accept this. You say he's God on earth. We say no. We agree with the monotheism of the Jews and the Muslims is virtually the same. God is not the creation, and the creation is not God. So the Christians are the odd one out. So the Judeo-Islamic tradition agree, and you disagree with the other Abrahamic faiths. So the message is not the same. That's the first. That's another thing. The final thing I'm going to say, because I don't want to talk for too long,
No problem.
is that just as you say a message came after the original message, we say that the final message came after this message. And this was alluded to in the New Testament. Jesus himself, according to the text that we have, alluded to there being another message after him, or another messenger after him. And I can give you some examples of this, but here's what I understood.
Well, Jesus actually, he warned about the false prophets in the New Testament, and
What did he say?
I mean, he warned that there will be fighting, because he said, "I came by the sword, not by peace."
Who said that? Jesus said.
Yeah. So I as a Christian believe that Jesus gave the final message from God.
Where does Jesus say that he gave the final message? I know you believe it.
Yes,
I'm not saying that you don't believe. What I'm saying is, can you tell me why you believe this? Where is the information that you have received that tells you this is the final message? How do I understand, as a non-Christian, how can I read in the text that Jesus says that he is the final message?
He. I don't know how to answer, but
Can I give you a counter verse?
okay.
There are many things that I must say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. You know the verse, right?
Yeah.
I must go, the comfortable will come. So now I'm paraphrasing. And he will lead you, he will guide you, and he will lead you onto all truth. For me, as a non-Christian reading this text, tells me that there is someone else, I'm not going to talk about who or anything like this,
Okay.
who will come to give the complete message that Jesus was unable to give at that time. And I'm quoting, according to your belief, Jesus himself. So when you say to me, this was final, when I read your book and the text, it tells me the opposite. So who do I believe? Should I believe you, or should I believe the text? You tell me.
But you have your own belief, so.
So I'm not talking about my belief, I'm talking about your belief.
Because it's known that.
Alex, my question was, should I believe what you say to me, or should I believe
No,
what the
you
text?
don't have to believe, of course. I'm not trying to force you to
So why do you believe?
become Christian.
So why do you believe that Jesus was the last message, according to you? So I can understand. Explain to me.
It's obvious. It is the last message.
Explain to me why it's obvious. Because it's not obvious to me.
How can I explain? Like, he came. He preached in Israel. It was called something Judea in the Roman time. And then he taught the apostles to spread the gospel around the world.
What did he say about the gospel?
Sorry?
What did he say to them about the gospel?
To spread the message around the world. So I mean, that's how it ends. And then he was raised after 3 days to heaven. That's what I can explain to you.
So I'm just going to try and make out the whole conversation, to link it up. So you started by saying to me, why did the Quran come if the word of God is complete? I asked the same question about the New Testament. Why did the New Testament come? Because there was the Old Testament before it. You said there was no difference between these two, the messages were the same. Even if we accept this, that they were the same message, it still doesn't answer the question of why the need for the New Testament, because we still have the same message before. The second thing is I demonstrated to you why these two things had different messages within them. Yeah. In fact, we have Judaism and Christianity, which are two separate religions, who disagree completely because of the two different messages that they hold. Okay. Then you try to explain that Jesus was the final messenger. This is the final message. You couldn't give me a reason.
I'm saying that.
But I gave you a counter verse which showed you that Jesus himself is speaking about, there are things that I need to tell you that I can't tell you now. You cannot bear them. But you're saying to me, no, it was done, finished.
It's up to Jesus what he said. And,
No, you follow Jesus.
of course.
So how are you following him? Did you meet him?
What do you mean?
You read the words.
Yes.
and then you follow the words.
Yes.
Okay. So the words say there are many things that I need to tell you that you cannot bear.
But it doesn't mean that he said that there will be another prophet.
What is he saying?
It's just his own interpretation, you know.
No, I don't understand. You have to explain.
Well, I don't understand, like, how can he predict a new prophet would come?
So did he?
You know what I mean?
Did he do that? Did he
no,
say?
no, he did not.
So explain those words to me so I understand them.
What can I explain this?
When I, as a non-Muslim, a non-Christian, read the texts, what do you want me to understand by these words? That's what I'm asking.
I'm to understand, but I'm telling this. It was just, you know, Jesus' own interpretation.
No.
It didn't mean that the prophet would come.
So let me. Okay, this is the interpretation is what I'm asking
And
you
you
about.
and your religion was created in artificial way 600 years later, because no one knew what was Islam before 600 years, right?
No, I don't agree.
Okay, but you have your own beliefs, as I said.
So before we go on to this other point, explain to me what I have to understand when I read these words. What do I understand about them?
What you have to understand. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So you said to me that the message is complete, Jesus is final. Okay, that's what you said.
No, it was God Himself, so it
So
should be final.
Okay, that's what you're saying. The
Yeah.
message is final. So then I gave you the verse where Jesus talks about there are many things that I must tell you, but you cannot bear them now. So I'm asking you, you're saying to me this message is final, there's nothing more.
Yeah.
I'm saying to you that according to what you believe are Jesus' words, he's saying to you there's many things that that I must tell you, but you cannot bear them now. So these are opposite things. So either there's more to come, or there isn't more to come. Now I'm not saying to you, tell me what the more to come is. All I'm saying to you is tell me why you ignore these words of Jesus.
No, I don't ignore the word of Jesus.
So then explain them to me is what I'm asking.
Jesus is talking about the prophecies. Yeah, there are some prophecies which are still to be revealed.
Yes.
Still to be followed, and they are coming true time by time. They are still going on. This is what the Revelation talk about. The prophecies about the happening in the world.
So
All the prophecies
Can I ask you a question?
which are being fulfilled time to time. Yeah,
I understand.
Jesus is talking about that
You're saying to
prophecy.
me that
Finish conversation with him instead of this man is only.
no problem. I'm just 1 second. So you're saying to me that when Jesus says there are many things I must tell you,
Yes.
but you cannot bear them now.
Yes.
This is about future prophecies, or is it about some new information?
Prophecies.
Prophecies.
Jesus is talking about the prophecies,
So the prophecies are already.
which will be revealed with the time passage.
So,
With the time passage.
so you mean that the prophecies are coming true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means that the prophecies were already revealed, or they weren't already revealed?
About Jesus,
No.
they were already revealed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
For
understand
his second coming, it will be revealed time to time.
So you're saying that when
Even Jesus talked about the signs up on the sky. You will see. When you see those signs, you will understand that my coming is near.
So what you're saying to me, I just want to understand. So what you're saying to me is that the new things that Jesus needs to tell you when he comes in his second coming, he will tell you then. Is that what you're saying to me? Alex, don't go. Alex, don't.
He said, I'm going away and I will send you a helper who will make you understand all these prophecies. And Jesus promised with his disciple, and that they received.
So what I'm trying to understand now is,
Yeah.
until the second coming,
Yeah.
there is information that you don't have.
Which information?
Stand back a little bit, man. Just stand back. So you're saying to me,
Yeah.
because the verse says there are many things that I need to tell you, but you cannot bear them now. You're saying this information
Yeah.
that you cannot bear now is going to come at the second coming. Is this what you're saying to me?
Am I talking the hadith with you, or I'm talking the Bible? I'm saying that these are the signs. These are the signs which Jesus talked about. These are the signs which Jesus talked about, that you will see the signs on the sky
Okay, thank you for your
about my second coming.
We'll finish our conversation.
here's the problem. I understand. Here's the problem, Alex. This is the problem. So this is the problem that we're having now. One statement I gave you is specifically talking about there are many things that I need to tell you that you cannot bear now.